everybody, and thank you for watching your top human rights organization review. I'm your host, Bryce Dolan. Now today on the show we take a look at a story from Amnesty International. And we've already talked about this topic in the top think tanks review, but it's only appropriate to also touch it on today's show because it is a sort of human rights issue. Now according to Amnesty International, the gloves are off. With Friday's executive order on protecting the nation from terrorist attacks by foreign nationals, President Trump has declared war on Muslim refugees around the world. Now, with the stroke of a pen, the president has, among other actions, banned Syrian refugees from the United States and has also effectively prevented anyone from Iran, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen from entering the United States. These 7 countries have 2 main things in common. 1, they are predominantly Muslim, and 2, they are the countries from where the majority of people seeking asylum from serious human rights violations, like persecution or torture, are trying to escape. Now it is ludicrous because there is no data to support the view that refugees, Muslim or otherwise, pose more risk of committing acts of terrorism than citizens. A refugee is not a person who commits acts of terrorism. It is someone fleeing people who commit acts of terrorism. Under international law, perpetrators of these crimes are automatically disqualified from refugee status. Additionally, the United States Refugee Admissions Program puts refugees through the most rigorous and detailed security screenings of any category of persons, immigrant or visitor, to enter the United States. Now, this is a deeply frightening document, ladies and gentlemen. Faced with a global emergency in which 21 million people have been forced to flee their homes, one of the wealthiest and most powerful countries on earth responds by obliterating one of their only avenues for hope: resettlement. Now, does the executive order explicitly ban Muslim refugees? No, it doesn't. However, the anti-Muslim rationale is brazen. All the countries subject to these severe restrictions are predominantly Muslim. Also, the text identifies one of the exceptions to the new restrictions as people with religious persecution claims, but only if they are part of a religious minority. Now, this is a plain reading of this provision. Now, a plain reading of this provision is that the Trump administration will resettle Christians fleeing predominantly Muslim countries. Now, this provision cloaks religious discrimination in the language of religious persecution. It is even conceivable that this favored treatment could accentuate a risk to Christian minorities in some countries where they face discrimination and violence on grounds of allegedly belonging to a foreign or American religion. So again, ladies and gentlemen, like I mentioned in the top think tanks review, this executive order, people are arguing, well, we need to look out for our own. We need to keep America safe. We need to keep Americans safe. This order is doing the exact opposite, ladies and gentlemen. It's increasing anti-American sentiment across the Middle East. Heck, Iran called it a gift for extremists. Now, also, it's putting Americans abroad at risk and also Christians at risk. So, although Trump came out with a statement claiming that it was not a Muslim ban, we just heard it ourselves. There's just kind of this underlying statement that Christians are favored. Now, if that isn't religious discrimination, I don't know what is, ladies and gentlemen. Now, luckily, this executive order has met a lot of backlash here in the United States and abroad. So hopefully this executive order will hopefully near in the future cease to exist, but only time will tell. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to look more into this story from Amnesty International, you can find a link directly to this story below in the description, and I encourage you to check it out. It really explains why this executive order is dangerous and scary and intimidating to not only Americans but to people all over the world. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, that way you can get notified every time a new video is posted. Give our Facebook pages a like and follow us on Twitter. But that does it for your top human rights organization review. I was your host, Bryce Dolan.